If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Hey, good evening, guys. Hope everyone's been doing pretty good. My January's been going A-okay thus far. But, hey, that's not the most exciting news. We don't want to hear about that. We want to hear about some fun comic stuff.
Yeah, Kevin, no one gives a shit about your January.
Man, I don't even give a shit about my January. Just the man putting me down. All kinds of bullshit like that.
Yeah, the man's putting everybody down, but that's okay. That's why the evening belongs to us.
Amen. That's to right. All of us, and the homies included.
That's right. To the homieverse.
And the homieverse.
The homieverse. That's right. All of you listeners, all you guys, all you awesome listeners, you make up the homieverse.
Indeed.
That's right.
It is a very shit. I was literally about to describe the homieverse as a very homey place, like a very homely, happy place to come to. Yep. So I was like, oh, it's a very homely place for the homies. Oh, that's not even alliteration. That's just poor writing.
I think I'd have been happier had you never said that.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
yeah. But today's a very, very special podcast, folks. So today we're covering the Avengers.
Indeed.
The very first Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And also, this is podcast number 20.
Yeah.
Superhero Homies. We finally hit 20. Yeah.
Next week will be Legal to Vote.
Yeah. Yep. 5 more podcasts from now will be considered adults according to the U.S. government.
I know, right?
Oh yeah.
Ooh wee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Avengers, man. Like, do you remember the hype behind the Avengers?
Oh man, hell yeah, dude. Because it was the first time in my lifetime that I've ever witnessed strategic movie productions like this on this scale, on this level. Because no one ever said, "Oh, Lion King's coming out with a saga of movies," and all of a sudden you're gonna get Lions with Pride or some bullshit.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my!
That would have been so bad. That's like the re-release that went straight to VHS. But no, this was definitely the first movie that was so planned out by Marvel Studios at the time, and it was just, oh wow, this is it. Finally, this is the one that we've been hearing rumors about from Iron Man. This is the one building up.
Yeah,
and of course I was there midnight premiere. Damn it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was there with you.
No.
What do you mean no?
Because you didn't see this movie. We didn't see this movie together.
We didn't.
No.
Shit. I thought we did.
Avengers 2, yo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually saw this one with my family, which is weird. Like, how many? I don't know. I mean, for me, I've always seen like family movies with family. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a cool holiday movie. Let's go see it.
Right. And that is a very distinct and useless superpower I have. So that I remember which theater, who I was with when I saw each and every superhero movie.
You want to know You want to know what other damn superpower you have that we were just talking about? I could start describing people. Listen up. I could start describing the most random bullshit actor or actress from like the most obscure role. It could be like a side part, a background character, and Q over here will be like, I know who that is, and just say the name straight out, like he just met them, like he just bumped into them in the grocery store and said, oh hey, how you doing today? I know you. And it's like, shit, dude, how do you have these people all You know more actors than you do real people.
But yeah, I had to make room in my head, so I had to push out all the bullshit. Like, who cares about Steve from 5th grade? You're out of here, Steve. Who cares about that co-worker from 2011? You're out of here.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you get rid of all the dead weight in your brain, and you made room for the important stuff, like actors' names and producers
and the movies they've all been in. And and directors.
Yeah, and directors. Yeah, you got to memorize their catalog. That's you got to make space for what's really important. All those useless, math test or English test or any kind of test from school. Nope, all that shit was dumbed out. All the mini Quentins in my brain. They were reenacting. Just putting all those files into furnaces and paper shredders. And then started typing up, all the important stuff. Yeah.
Happy memories of the SpongeBob episode just came back.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's get into this one, man. Avengers 1.
Hell yeah.
So, like we were saying earlier, this movie did have a lot of hype behind it. It was a lot of hype on this hype train, and for good reason, because this was by far the most important movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would say the second most important movie hasn't come out yet. I think it's going to be Infinity War. It's going to be the second most important movie in the MCU. But this was important for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one thing, like they built this universe from the ground up. Like you said earlier, they did Iron Man 1, really hoping that Iron Man 1 would be enough of a success to spawn this franchise and to keep it going. And fortunately, the big wigs and the upper heads at Marvel Disney gave them the go ahead. Because Kevin Feige, as far as I know, like a lot of this was all him. A lot of this was all his idea, and the fact that he was able to bring this thing together to get the right people, like it really was like catching lightning in a bottle. This was an extremely important movie, and I will say this now. One reason that I feel that Avengers 1 succeeds where Avengers 2 kind of stumbles is because they did Avengers 1 like it was the end of the road. Like all the build-up had been in the movies previous, and now Avengers, like this was it. Yeah. This was what they were working for. Whereas I feel like they kind of stumbled that in the next Avengers film and other Marvel films. But
I can see that. Like Avengers 2 was made to be a continuation, whereas they wanted the ability to have the continuation in Avengers, but they didn't focus on it. They didn't say this is the plan.
No, the focus was, okay, we built up this universe to this point. Now let's try to make a kick-ass movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One where a lot of star power actually came together very well, you know? More so than we've ever dealt with before in the MCU.
Right.
I mean, you've got big Robert Downey Jr. up. That's a contradiction. Big Robert Downey Jr. But you got, RDJ up in there. And then you got Chris Evans thrown into the ring. Scarlett Johansson, of course. I mean, you got Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
A bunch of them, man.
And Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Just a lot of great powerhouse names. And then you're going to say, hey, we're going to fit all this into this one movie.
Right.
Yeah. Super good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
I will also go ahead and say this. Like, I feel that Avengers 1, because, of course, I rewatched it last night.
Of course.
And I feel like it does kind of lack like a strong central plot.
Right.
But it definitely makes up with it, in like character dynamics and big action set pieces.
For the most part. Poor Hawkeye didn't get much love, I don't feel like. Yeah. That was the good thing about Avengers 2, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He, like I said, well, we'll discuss this when we get to Avengers 2.
But, of course.
Hawkeye had some of my favorite scenes in Avengers 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, so let's go ahead and break this bitch down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, so the very first note that I have here is that there's so many damn Marvel ads on this Blu-ray. So like I put in the Blu-ray, okay, and I'm ready. I got pen and pad in hand, like I'm Eminem on 8 Mile, just about to.
Just working with this piece of paper.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm I'm writing my greatest hits now, But so the movie's starting up, and then like I see like this pretty cool Marvel ad. It's kind of showing like the lead up to Avengers, like Iron Man 1,
right?
Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain. It kind of goes through like shows like a little montage from all the movies. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then that ends, and then another Marvel ad comes on, and then another one, and then there's like one for like a freaking, it looked like a cell phone game or something. I'm like, okay, and I started skipping the bitches. So I was like, this is enough. Like I already bought the Blu-ray. You guys have my money, okay?
What? Yeah, that's my question. Why are ads pre-movie on a damn Blu-ray necessary? Like, who said this was a good business venture? You bought the Blu-ray, so you didn't have to watch it on TV when it came on with commercials. Yeah. Come on.
Oh, I know one of the ads was it was maybe in the first one that showed like all the individual movies, and then it showed like the entire Phase 1 collection that you can get inside.
And that's cool.
Inside the Tesseract.
That's okay.
Like that is really, I looked it up on Amazon, and I look it up every year.
Okay.
Just to see if the price drops any. But that Phase 1 box set is ridiculously overpriced.
What's the price?
Oh, jeez, I think it's close to $300.
Damn.
Yeah.
For
Phase 2, which may have more movies, maybe the same, but Phase 2 is cheaper.
Yeah.
Way cheaper. Yeah. Anywho.
Yep. Go figure.
Yep.
Wait, what do they put Phase 2 in? Because they can't put it in the Tesseract again.
They put that in
John's head.
That'd be creepy.
That'd be super creepy.
Yeah.
Like it's just staring at you.
Yeah, I think they put that inside that little orb that the Power Stone came in that Ronan had. I think that's what they put it in.
Oh, from Guardians? Okay. The little purple ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they put it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's tight. That's cool. Whatever.
Yep. So, but seriously, as far as the actual movie goes, so this movie starts off, and they have the Other talking to Thanos, and I watched this scene now, and I'm like, in the theater, maybe it was just me, but at the time, nobody questioned who the hell the Other, the little servant guy. His name is the Other. No one questioned who the Other was talking to. We were just like, okay. And then, the movie goes on, and like we don't even think about the fact that not only was this weird alien guy obviously talking to somebody above his pay grade. And not only do we see this guy again talking to Loki, referencing his boss,
right?
We don't even think about it then.
Nope.
It's not until like the very end of the movie we're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just really appreciated how they sprinkled these little hints in throughout the movie.
Right, definitely laying the seeds for a potential continuation. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though. I was one of those many. I was part of the mass there. It was like, oh, hey, Ugly is talking to some other dude. Whatever.
Yeah.
Where's Iron Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was one of those at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, according to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the cube is a doorway to the end of space. Yep. And
space has an end.
Space has an end.
Like the trunk of a car.
Yep. And so yeah, that very first scene like starts off in kind of a hustle though, because there's like Nick Fury, and he's walking with like I think Agent Hill, and they're all the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're at this research facility, and they're kind of in a hustle because the Tesseract is acting up.
Right.
They don't know what the hell it's doing. They have Dr. Selvig there. Of course, we know him from Thor.
Yep.
He's trying to experiment on it, trying to figure out what the hell it's doing, and he's saying that the cube is behaving, that is, or misbehaving. Do what he say?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that's she also, I believe. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
I mean, because it's acting like it has its own kind of personality.
Right.
And in this scene here, we get a lot of star power off the bat. We have, of course, Nick Fury.
Yep.
We see Kobe Smulders for the first time as Maria Hill. Of course, we see Hawkeye, Dr. Selvig, and very shortly thereafter, we see Loki. Loki he comes through like the cube. It's used like a portal for Loki, and Loki just kind of makes his way on through. And he's like, "What up, bitches?" And then he promptly proceeds to start killing people.
Yep.
Ooh wee! There Loki goes again, just killing people.
Hope you guys get that reference.
Yep, and so it's like less than 5 minutes into the movie when Loki takes over like the mind of Hawkeye, and Dr. Selvig.
Kind of makes him a Loki slave.
Yeah, he takes over Hawkeye, Dr. Selvig, and then like one other nameless SHIELD agent.
Right.
We never really see what happens to that guy. But
thank goodness he didn't do that to freaking Samuel L. Jackson, because then it'd be like, well, where's the movie go from here?
The movie goes nowhere. Like the Avengers lose and die.
It's like at that point he just goes straight to New York and skip so much of the movie, and there we are.
Yeah, and
hopefully someone in New York is like, hey,
let me tell you, like I think the Avengers die. For one thing, because this is a cool thinking here,
okay?
Because like if he did take over the mind of Nick Fury,
sure,
he gets the Tesseract, he goes to New York and builds like the giant portal device,
right?
I think
he needed a new location for that because it wouldn't be Stark Tower.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be. Why not?
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, if Iron Man, what's he gonna do? He's gonna get overwhelmed. I mean, he's gonna fight Loki.
Oh, that's true. Because then he'd be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
He'd put up a fight, but I mean, yeah. At that point, you got
right. And then like if Dr. Selvig gets that device, because I think he built the device in like the little underground bunker where Loki kept.
Right.
And then they just set it up on Stark Tower, on the building.
How the hell did they do that?
I can see Loki doing some real shit to get it up there.
I can see that. Yeah. That's an easy explanation.
But my point was that even if Loki gets that thing open and the portal in the sky open with all the Chitauri coming through,
right?
Iron Man and Cap, they're going to be the first to be blown because they're in New York for sure.
Right.
Bruce Banner never makes it there because he's in
friggin'
a third world country somewhere. Yeah, and like Black Widow, I don't know what SHIELD does if their SHIELD head is down. Maria Hill takes control, and Maria Hill, she didn't believe in the Avengers at first. I don't think she tries to assemble them either. Who else we got? Thor. Thor does, and he would still make it to Earth. Thor would still make it, but it wouldn't be enough. He wouldn't be enough because eventually, like, what was going to happen is that Thanos' ship, the Sanctuary, was going to come through that bit. It was going to come through the portal,
right?
And then, like, you're done.
And then we have Infinity War happening right now.
Yeah, which wouldn't be much of a war.
No, it would be more like a domination.
Yeah.
So thank you, Nick Fury, for avoiding his staff and Loki's dickish powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which kudos to Nick Fury, because like he had a plan, and the plan was a hell of a plan, which was once he saw Loki in there and killing all those men and taking control of some other men, he was talking with Loki, trying to stall him, and then Hawkeye even called him out. He said he's trying to stall. He's gonna bring down this entire research facility.
Yeah.
And I mean, damn, like, Nick Fury was that dedicated to the cause that he was going to, sacrifice himself as long as it kept Loki and the Tesseract there, now, so that partially comes true. That research facility does crumble completely, but Loki, he does escape. Loki does escape with the cube.
Yep.
And that's actually like that's the opening scene, because then right after they escape from Nick Fury, he's talking to some of the other SHIELD agents like Agent Coulson and Maria Hill over the radio, and they're like, well, what should we do? And he brings the radio up to his face, and we're all waiting for him to say it, and then it just cuts to it instead and shows us the Avengers in the logo, which is pretty cool. Did you get a chance to watch any of the deleted scenes on this by chance?
Oh man, forever ago I did, because I have the same edition at my home, but it's like, no.
Yeah,
please enlighten us.
Oh,
yes,
indubitably. I think I will. Yes, indubitably. Yeah, so I was able to watch some of these deleted scenes. Actually, I watched them all,
of course,
and But no, they were really good. Some of them I'm glad they didn't put in the movie. Some of them I thought would have been a great twist.
Yeah, remind me.
So the very first one is actually with the opening scene. It's like an extended cut of the opening scene.
Yeah.
And the reason they took this out is because they felt that it was a little too dark, which I can kind of see.
Yeah, that's not really Joss Whedon style.
Not particularly.
Yeah.
But this one stars with it's Maria Hill, and she's being like debriefed or interviewed by like those talking heads on the screen who we never really see. She's being interviewed by them, and then like it intercuts with like scenes from the big Chitauri battle in New York. And we see like, there's destruction and there's like people crying, and then we see like the Avengers beat up like in really quick cuts.
Right.
So it was done really cool. And they're asking they're asking Maria, so what went wrong? What happened here? And she's like, well, a lot of things went wrong. There were a lot of mistakes made, mistakes after mistake that led us here. And it's just a really, really grim opening. It kind of lays the groundwork for like just the level of bullshit that the Avengers have to go through.
Yeah.
Like all the...
Almost like the red tape, you mean?
Well, not the red tape.
Okay.
I'm referring to the fact that like all the chaos and destruction that they have to go through in this fight. The fact that there's a lot of destruction in New York City. There's a lot of people that you can tell died. So there's that kind of nonsense. Which I thought was really cool. I really liked that extended scene. Yeah, because it really showed more like what they had to go through. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So moving on here. The Black Widow scene really gives me hope for a good standalone movie. Remember that Black Widow scene? It's when she's in the chair, she's tied up, and she's being interrogated by like some kind of arms dealer.
No, she definitely has her technique down.
Yeah,
and that scene, bragged her ability to the T.
All right. Well, to me, this was really showing off one of Joss Whedon's greatest strengths. Because she's being interrogated by this arms dealer guy,
right?
And then all of a sudden,
she's playing to him.
She's playing a character at this point.
The damsel in distress,
right? But she's not really showing that she's worried either, which is kind of perplexing and pissing him off.
Right.
And then the arms dealer, his phone starts ringing, and he answers it, and it's Agent Coulson, and he's like, "What the shit?" And
I'm calling for her. Put her on the phone.
Yeah, put her on the phone. He's like, "Look, we're so many miles out. We can have that place leveled before you have the chance to leave the building. Put her on the phone." And so he puts her on the phone, and she's like, "What do you want, Coulson?" "No, I'm working. You know how easy it was to get information from this idiot?" Like,
yeah.
And the guy,
and he's just like looking at his goons, like, "What the shit?
Yeah,
am I the idiot?" Yeah.
And then they're like, "Well, it's a level 7. Clint's been compromised," and then she gets serious.
Right.
And it's like, "Oh shit!" And then she proceeds to, as she's like tied to a chair,
she fights
everyone's ass.
She fights them / breaks out of the chair simultaneously, and you're just kind of like,
yeah.
What school of training did you go through? And may I join? But dadgum, man, Scarlett Johansson, she pulled it off quite well.
She did, man. Like, I really enjoyed her in this scene. Like, I forgot just how much good material she had in this movie. So it was really fun seeing her in this.
They almost got someone else to play Black Widow.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I forget who the actor was, though. Who was it?
I'm about to look it up right now. Okay, computer. Come on, don't be that way. But yeah, that's going to be loading up here in a second, I'll tell you.
Okay. So, like, the next major scene I want to talk about here is actually another deleted scene. And this one was another really fun deleted scene. And it was a little... Oh, was it Jessica Biel?
No. These aren't the names I heard. These are others that apparently were, approached. That was the one I heard.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I heard too.
That's the one that was the big one.
Yeah. I think that she was one of the first that they approached, like, seriously.
Yeah,
Emily Blunt.
She was one of the first they approached, and then apparently they approached Angelina Jolie, Jessica Biel, Natalie Portman. Which what Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess Iron Man 2 did come out before Thor, so
Right.
that could have been a thing.
Jessica Alba, which it's not the first time they recasted a Fantastic Four member. Emily Blunt, of course, as we just said. Gemma Arterton, which, okay, Q, I'm going to need your superpowers here. What is she known for?
I do not know her.
Damn it, your powers have failed me for like the first time, literally. It says here that she was from Quantum Solace.
Okay. Quantum of Solace. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And, there's another really cool deleted scene though that I want to talk about here, and so this deleted scene is actually about Cap, and it's a really cool one that I kind of wish had been kept in the movie as well.
Do tell.
So this one starts off, and it's Cap, and he's sitting alone in it looks like his apartment. And it's kind of dim, and he's going through some old SHIELD files that
his
I guess
sad
they gave him.
old apartment.
Yeah, and he's going through some SHIELD files, and he comes across the file for Peggy, and of course, that causes feelings and all that, and it has her status. Her status is retired, and it has her number on there as well, her phone number, and he looks at the number, then he looks at his phone, because of course she has like a wall-mounted phone.
Yeah, he's got that old school tech. Yeah,
and he's thinking about calling her, but he never does. He doesn't do it, and he goes out, and he's kind of just like walking the city, kind of I guess trying to really integrate himself in the city, trying to be more accustomed, and eventually he just comes to like this little spot outside. It's like a place to sit. No, it's like an outside restaurant maybe.
Sure,
and so he's sitting down, and he pulls out his like a sketch pad and starts sketching this building, and this waitress comes up to him, and she's like, are you waiting for the big guy? He's like, huh? It's like, Iron Man. People sit here all the time with him to fly to his building. He's sitting across from Stark Tower,
of course,
down the hill, and he's like, oh yeah, no. And interesting side note, so this waitress right here that he's talking to is actually the same waitress at the very end of the movie doing like the news montage that says Captain America saved my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would have been so cool for them to keep that deleted scene up in there.
Yeah. There's another reason why they should have kept it too. So this scene, it kind of goes on for a few more seconds, and then she walks away, and what does she say exactly? Something like, we have free wireless or something that Cap didn't quite understand.
Right, like free Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay.
And so she I think she says like, yeah, we have free Wi-Fi, free wireless, and Cap goes, oh, like for the radio? And she goes, just as she's walking away, like, what did he say? And then at this point, there's a guy sitting behind Captain America. He turns around, and it's Stan Lee. And he goes, great. Why didn't you ask for a number? And then turns back around. It's like, man, that was a great scene.
That really was. I'm surprised they got rid of a Stan Lee cameo. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, but I thought that was a pretty fun scene.
Yeah.
But the next big scene that we see in the movie though was when Black Widow, the Black Widow and Bruce Banner scene.
Yep.
This is one of my favorites in the movie. Just like the interaction between these two, because of course, like we said earlier, Bruce is in this third world country and he's treating people for medical assistance. You know, he's helping people out, doing the Bruce Banner thing, and this little girl comes in and says that her dad has all the symptoms that these guys he's treating has, and that he really needs help. And so Bruce he goes to help the little girl and her dad, and she leads him to like this little hut that's apparently on like the edge of the city. And then the little girl proceeds to just go right out the other side of the window, and Bruce is like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And that's when he turns around and he sees Black Widow. He sees Natasha, and they have this really cool and really intense conversation.
It really was well done, because he's slowly digesting and understanding the strategy of what just happened to him. Like, oh. Smart choice, by the way. Edge of the city.
Right.
Go you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like complimenting her for tricking him. It's like, okay, cool.
Right. Yeah. This is our very first scene seeing Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. What you think of him here?
honestly, at this point, I was surprised because, understand, we just finished, having freaking Edward Norton be our Hulk.
Right.
I heard that there was going to be a different one. When I first saw him, I instantly liked him more as a Bruce Banner, just because he had what I imagined, what I perceived personally to be that Bruce Banner look. And so I was like, okay, I can see this. But then after the scene, after his chemistry and after the way he carried himself and after he carried the idea of the burden of the Hulk, after he was talking about like, I can't remember how the hell he said it, but it was essentially like, well, what would you do if I did break and if I did get, and he like faked his anger real quick and just like lashed out for a second, and all of a sudden like, you see Natasha reacting lightning quick, and it's just like, okay, our boy Mark has got some good skills here. Let's see what our Hulk can do now. I like them.
I feel like in the hands of lesser actors, this scene would have been a bust. It wouldn't have been nearly as good. It wouldn't have been nearly as deep. But because of this scene, we get to see Bruce Banner's plight. We get to see really what he's dealing with and how he's trying to cope and how he's still trying to help society, even though he knows that like he can no longer be like a part of normal society anymore. He has to be under the radar for like the rest of his life. And come to find out, he's like, so how long have you been watching me? And she goes, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. never lost contact of you. We just gave you some distance and even got rid of a few of your enemies for you. And I really like that scene too, the part that you mentioned where he lashes out at her, and he says something like, don't you lie to me. Like he really just loses his shit just to see what she does. And of course she reaches under the table and pulls a gun out on him, and then he tries to calm her down, like, okay, I was just testing you just to see what you do, but let's put the gun down. We don't want the other guy showing up.
And when he started talking like that, that's when I was really starting to get sold. Like, oh shit, man. Okay, he knows how to play chess like this. Okay.
And so eventually he agrees to go with Black Widow back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. base when she convinces him that Nick Fury doesn't want the Hulk. She wants Bruce Banner because the Tesseract has like at least like a trail of gamma radiation, and of course Bruce Banner being the most well-known scientist for working on gamma radiation.
Gee, I wonder why.
Of
course, and that's a good selling point for old Bruce.
And it's funny because they pan to outside the little hut, and there's like an ass load of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents like with their guns ready.
All aimed at the walls of this building. Like, okay,
and I'm like, you guys would be fucked
exactly
if he turned. I guess none of them know what he's capable of.
Hopefully not. Hopefully none of them were crossover soldiers or something like that heard about the incidents of the Incredible Hulk.
It'd be great if like one of those soldiers like, man, we shouldn't be here, man. I was in Harlem when shit went down. Man.
Exactly, that'd be great. It's like, you don't understand, man. This is some shit for me, man. This is why I went to therapy, man.
I should be on this front line right here. Oh man. So what do you think? Because I never, once again, during my first viewing of this movie, I never really thought about who those nameless, faceless government puppets were. Who do you think they were supposed to be? Because I don't think they were a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you think they were like
the ones that Fury kept talking to as higher ups? Honestly, I think they were world leaders, man. I think that to an extent they were representatives, higher powered representatives of like the United Nations or something like that.
I think you're right.
I mean, I tried thinking to myself as I have watched other movies and as I've become more aware, more able to digest the deeper meanings behind all these scenes. I tried thinking to myself, like, if those were potential representatives from other movies that we haven't got yet. Like all of a sudden you got like this big league company owner that appeared in this movie, or you got like this leader who was in that movie, or maybe even like one of the Wakandan leaders that we might see, some cool shit like that. I don't think they laid their tracks out that well. As they do lay tracks.
I can attest to that because in the deleted scenes, when we see the talkless, faceless heads, they're actually not shadowed out, so we see the actors.
Really? Okay. So you can actually say, "Oh no, that dude's not in any of the movies." He was just some cool dude that had a good silhouette.
Yeah.
You're hired. Oh, good. What's my part? You're gonna be a silhouette. You're gonna be silhouette B.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you move your head appropriately so people can tell that you're an actual person.
Do I have any lines? Yeah, but we're gonna tell them. Tell you when you're gonna read them, and they're gonna be on a cue card.
Yeah. Oh,
we're gonna do all your filming in 2 days.
Yeah. So the next scene we get here is scene where Iron Man, first scene with Iron Man, and we see him like underwater. He's like doing some work on some kind of pipeline that is like the final touch for the new Stark Tower, and in New York, because last time we seen him, he's really spent a lot of his time in California. And then, of course, there's Stark Expo at the end of Iron Man 2. That took place in Queens, New York. So now he has the shield. Damn it, why I keep calling it the shield? There is no shield tower. He's at the Stark Tower.
Yeah.
And we got this really cool scene where he flies in it and he lands on like the base of his tower.
Yeah.
And he's walking. And yeah. And of course, like, I watched a deleted scene. I don't exactly remember what this deleted scene had in it. So it wouldn't stand out to me that much, I guess. Okay. But it just showed Robert Downey walking down walking down the set, and with like little bubbles and shit on him.
Okay.
Yeah, just representing like the armor coming off of him. I love watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Makes it human again.
Yeah. But we see Tony Stark as Jarvis seamlessly just takes the armor off of him. It's a far cry from Iron Man 1.
You see two men dressed up in green suits, too. They're just literally like. I was actually trying to grab out like Robert's shoulder or something. Yeah,
that would be weird.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they did not go that route.
Yeah, I mean, if that were the case, kudos to Robert for keeping a straight face during all that. Like, while green ghosts are following.
But the importance of the last scene that I mentioned with the talking heads, so that they say that they want to initiate phase 2, which I was like, is that you guys being meta with me right now? You guys doing some meta work right here?
Right, yeah.
But no, as we found out later on in the movie, phase 2 is like nuking
the weapon scene.
Yeah, it's like nuking
the part where Captain America gets pissed.
Yeah. If you guys hear anything, I think our neighbors are playing some music.
Yeah, one of our neighbors loves their loud music. Go figure.
Yeah. Anyways, but so this current scene though with the Tony Stark and Pepper, they have like they still have their really nice chemistry here, and at this point the two are together. They're like an item. And so that finally happened here, and there's the cool funny moment when he's like, come on, Pepper, you need to take credit for this too. This tower is also your creation. You helped at least 12%. And she's like, oh, really, 12%?
Yeah.
And so he kind of gets himself in a little bit of trouble there. And Agent Coulson comes in, and this is when Iron Man discovers his name is Phil. He's like, who the hell is Phil? His first name is Agent. It's not Phil.
Yeah.
But Agent Coulson, you can tell he's a little disturbed by something. He's a little off-put.
Right.
And, he's trying to get Tony to come aboard, to join up. And at this point, Tony really isn't having any of it. And, so that's really just kind of point of that scene there. He pulls up a bunch of files, though, on this, like, little cool touchscreen, non-existent computer.
Yeah.
And
it's Stark-only 3D computer. Yeah.
And pulls up, like, a bunch of files on like what's been going on. So he sees like Captain America, and he sees the Hulk and Thor.
Yeah, and they're like all clips from the movies or something. Yeah, some cool stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, well shit. Well, like where were you doing all that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh look, so it looks like Hulk could have used some help.
Yeah.
As he grabs popcorn.
What's really cool though, also that during the scene when Agent Coulson first comes in the scene, is that he goes, Tony, we need to talk, and Tony goes, nope, it's not me, it's a life model decoy, which was a really cool Easter egg, because the LMDs or the life model decoys, they're used a lot in the comics, especially with S.H.I.E.L.D. Like Nick Fury has a shitload of them. And then basically what they are is that they're not clones, but they're kind of like functioning androids that pass off as the real thing. And And yeah, there's been a lot of times when Nick Fury has used like model decoys. There's been times when like they've used it to explain the character's death and resurrection. Come to find out they didn't die; it was a LMD.
Oh, go figure. That's
yeah,
cool concept.
Yeah,
bad storytelling.
Yeah, well, it depends on how they do it.
Of course, given and granted, but.
Yeah, but so I thought it was a cool Easter egg mentioning the life model decoys. Yep. So Agent Coulson is a big ass Captain America fanboy.
Yep. I have your trading card, sir. Can you autograph this, please? Yeah. I don't know if he ever asked for an autograph. I think he just liked the purity of the card, but whatever.
And no, later on he tells Cap about the trading cards and asks for an autograph.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I loved like Chris Evans acting just then because he's standing there. I'm sure at that point he wasn't acting. He's like thinking back to himself. I'm sure, or at least I know I would in his shoes. Like thinking back to himself, like I remember a fan that I almost had this exact conversation with off camera. Just some random fan. You're Captain America in the movies. I love your acting, sir. I actually have this. Could you please sign it? And he's just like having a deja vu moment on camera.
Yeah, could be. I can see that. Yeah. But Agent Coulson is the biggest of Cap fanboys. And
wait, who's a bigger fan? You think Coulson or Frank Castle?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, definitely Coulson.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the MCU, of course, let's be honest. But, just posing a threatening question there,
Oh, man. I just thought that was really, really cool they put that in there because Coulson is always such a, almost like a straight-laced, by the book, to the point, straight to the point type of guy. And like then we
Jarvis
see that
wasn't turned into a human, he would be the most relatable thing to Jarvis.
How much is a helicarrier, and where do I go to get one?
You don't, buddy. That's only like
I will take out a loan.
Like companies only own one of those, okay? Like Amazon can buy one, I'm sure. Apple probably has two. Let's face it, they broke the rule. Microsoft had one, but it's getting old now. Parked in Australia somewhere with Bill Gates.
The helicarrier look cool as shit.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Plus with that freaking technology, the freaking stealth code bullshit.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
How many planes crash into you daily? Be straight.
They're like, none. We shoot them down before they get to us.
I believe that. Maria gets on the line. Sir, you're about to crash into our helicarrier. What? Well, how far out are you guys? Well, let's see here. 3 what? 2 1.
Yeah. But man, I thought that it just looked super freaking cool. And like, as we see it rise out of the water, I'm like, that's a really cool scene there. And I couldn't help but wonder how much would one of those things cost? Like how many billions of dollars? Because it's surely multiple billions.
Right.
How many billions with a B does it cost to get a helicarrier built? I mean, thinking about the numbers just astronomical because it blows my mind. It's like, you spend who knows how many years getting this thing just developed, and then getting it assembled would be a whole nother,
a whole nother workforce of money.
Yeah, and then getting someone to staff it.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that.
It really is like a floating fortress,
As far as we know from the first movie, as far as we're given sight-wise and what we can see as an audience, that is the one shield base, right? Like, we don't see another one, I don't think. Not in the first movie.
Yeah, no, not in the first movie. They just really focus a lot on the helicarrier. Right. We see that research facility at the beginning where they have...
that's right, the almost underground-looking thing where they pop out in the beginning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, we see one where the helicarrier definitely wasn't, because let's face it, that place looked too small for that big ass ship.
Right. I don't know where you store that.
You don't. That's Area 51. It's just the helicarrier.
Yeah. And then how do you fuel that thing? Does it run on gas?
It shouldn't.
It should not.
Man, that's like... Okay, just put the entire decomposing dinosaur in there. Just get all the fossil fuels we can. Just give them all over here now. Yeah. I'm hoping that they at least like have some solar panel thing going for it somewhere.
Like you imagine that they get Tony Stark to just put an arc reactor in it to power it.
For real,
you know?
That'd be good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not plausible for me to think about because I just can't fathom putting it all together.
Right. Yeah. Stuttgart, Germany. I know I did not pronounce that correctly. Thank you, listeners. You don't have to correct me. Okay.
Sure.
Some place in Germany that starts with the letter S.
Yep.
Okay. This is where Loki goes to. He and Hawkeye and like a few other of his lackeys, they go there to retrieve some kind of power source that they need to power the machine to use the Tesseract to open up the portal. That was a mouthful.
It was, yeah. Because you can't use the Tesseract to power the machine, which powers the Tesseract.
Yeah.
You can't contradict it that way.
Right.
You can't reflect it.
So they're at like some kind of fancy. I don't know what it is. Some kind of fancy.
Some gala.
Yeah, I was going to call it gala. Yeah.
And you see Loki do his cool ass powers and gets like this sleek green suit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're the villain of the movie, but I mad respect that.
Yeah.
That's slick. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
Turns his staff into like a little slick cane too. And you're just like, you are the god of chaos, but you're dressed for chaos tonight. You got that sleek wannabe pimping thing going for you.
You're looking dapper, Tom. Looking dapper.
Indeed.
Yeah. But so Loki makes a scene and everybody's like, who the hell is this? He proceeds to grab this poor bastard whose retina scan he needs, body slams this man on the table, pulls out this little device.
Yeah, the hell was that? Like, what the shit was that?
Sticks it over his eye and it just... It rips the guy's eye out, basically, and then Hawkeye is in a different location holding up a similar tool in his hand to this retina scan, and then the guy's ID, or the guy's eye that Loki
was some security guard.
Is now formed on this tool.
Which you can Bluetooth, optical scans like that now. But,
I mean, we live in a world where we're talking about a world where a man flies around in an iron suit.
That's true. No, I got nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Although, here's a fun thought. It's surprising that Joss Whedon let something so gruesome happen in one of his movies.
Oh, I mean, you don't see any of it. It's all up to the imagination.
Exactly, yeah. But even the idea, I feel like, is something that's a little...
I mean, I don't think that Joss Whedon necessarily steers away from it. He just has a different style. I mean, sure. So I don't think that he goes away from,
I just have his name in my mind now being synonymous with like family friendly and things like that, because even planting the idea of that sounds and comes off as, oh, that's pretty dark. Oh, that's cool. Oh wait, Joss Whedon did that? And it's like a mental shock for me thinking about it. Like if you asked him today, if we had the pleasure for some reason, Joss, here's an invitation, buddy, of having him in this third chair with us today, that would be one of my questions. Like, hey, so would you do this type of scene again? I mean, I can only imagine the detailed answer he'd give, which I'm not even going to take a stab at.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point you mentioned. I mean, I don't know if like that's a decision more on his directorial preferences, or if it's something from like the producers or Kevin Feige.
Oh damn it! I was about to torture all of us and make a Kevin joke. Yeah. Well, my name's Kevin, and his name is Kevin. It's like you have to rely on the power of the Kevins to decide sometimes.
No.
I made the joke still. I did it. Ooh-wee.
Yeah. So, anyways, that retina scan gives Hawkeye what he needs to break in and instill some nameless power source. Maybe it had a name and I just didn't catch it. I didn't really.
It was an Energizer battery. They stole the pink bunny. Come on, Energizer. That was a free commercial right there. They could have like. Oh man, my imagination's just like all of a sudden they open the door and Jeremy's looking down at this random pink bunny just playing the damn drum. I think it's hilarious. Don't you give me that look. He's giving me the most stern look right now, people. Don't you dare do that.
So we see Loki gather everybody outside.
I'm having fun, damn it. But yes, he gathers all the crowd outside. They're all terrified of him.
Yep. He tells them to kneel, and then they try to run away. And he does his little multiplying trick where he's in, multiple places at once, little illusion trick. And then he yells it again, kneel. And then they finally kneel. So for a bunch of Germans, they understand English pretty well.
Yeah.
And they understand English so well that there's this one older gentleman who stands up and starts speaking English to Loki. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he goes, he pretty much disses Loki, saying that there's I've met men like you before, and then Loki goes, there are no men like me, and the old man goes, there have been plenty of men like you. And
that's a damn good rebuke by that old man.
Yeah.
Like, well said, sir. You wise man. Mm-hmm. Also, very soon, you poor man.
Yeah. Loki looks at him and goes, look to your elders, people. And this is an example. And then as soon as he's about to blast the guy, Cap drops down, blocks the blast with the shield. And then we get a really cool fight scene between Loki and Cap. The only one that we really gotten in the entire franchise. Only fight scene between Cap and Loki.
Right, okay. Yeah. I had to think about that for a second, like, wait a minute. But yeah, you're right.
Yep. And I really enjoyed this fight scene because it's drastically different from anything we saw in Captain America First Avenger. You can really tell, like, the different styles of fighting in this movie versus Cap 1. Because in this movie, there's, like, a lot of agility. We see a lot more of Cap's skills, not just his enhanced strength. Because admittedly, that's pretty much all we saw in Cap 1 was like he was really strong. But in this movie, we see a lot of his agility and his speed and his reflexes along with his strength and a lot of the cool shit that he does with the shield. And it was a really fun thing to watch.
Like jumping at the perfect time to have the radial shield protecting his whole body as he like scrunched as tiny as he could behind that thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is a call out to the future here. Yeah.
I just really like that style of fighting that he had. And of course, Black Widow's she's there in the ship trying to shoot down Loki.
Right.
And then Iron Man shows up and
playing his own theme music.
Yeah.
Freaking cocky man.
Right. and Loki promptly gives up shortly thereafter. And I feel like that should have raised a red flag, with them then. Like, why are you really giving up? Just like that? Okay.
Like Charles Xavier or Doctor Strange would kind of be all over that. Like, wait a minute, guys, let's think about this.
Or just like a reasonable thinking person who, like, I feel like if someone, like, if Thor were there I feel like Thor would even feel forward to that.
Yeah, no. At this point, Thor definitely would have. Maybe a later Thor, maybe eye patch, buzz cut Thor would be a little wiser. Who knows?
Right.
We'll see.
Well, because we see Thor shortly thereafter because they're taking Loki back to like the main shield helicarrier, and they're flying on the ship, and then there's some lightning and thunder, and Loki looks worried, and it's either Cap or Iron Man who says, "You afraid of a little bit of lightning?" And Loki goes, "No, I'm afraid of." He goes, "No, I don't like what follows it, though."
Yeah,
and then that's when, of course, we see Thor aboard Chris Hemsworth for the first time in the movie. He comes down on the little shield ship, not the helicarrier, this little transport ship, and he rips open the door, grabs Loki, pushes Iron Man out of the way, and then jumps out the plane.
Hey, you can't take my things. Push. I gotta say real quick, now that we've covered the three of our major heroes entering into a combat field here.
Yeah.
In essence, I want to mention this thought I had a long time ago. This movie did a good job of not repeating entrances. They did a good creative idea of saying, okay, Cap is going to enter like this. Right. Iron Man's going to do his thing. And make sure that everyone's got a different style to introduce them as unique. And I liked that call out and that careful thought process, you know. Yeah, you can't have everybody doing superhero landing. Come on.
Right. Yeah. At a point, not only would it get old, but it get really cheesy.
Right. You know? And it's just like, okay, guys, now we know you're just, waiting for the scene to be over with, not taking advantage of it. Right. But no, they definitely did take advantage of it.
Most definitely. Yeah. I agree. But before the big fight scene that we're about to get here, there's a really cool scene. There's a really cool scene with Loki and Thor. And I love this scene here because there's a lot of anger and anguish for both of these brothers here. Thor, he feels like he just doesn't understand anymore. It's like he's pissed and he's upset, and like Hemsworth does a really good job of like displaying that, of showing that.
Definitely one of his
raw
most
emotion.
Thor moments.
Yeah, well, I feel like I really enjoyed his portrayal of Thor, like up until Ragnarok. If I'm being honest, like
that's what I was thinking too.
He's also done a really good job with the character of Thor, and same thing with Tom as Loki, and these two together in this scene right here, they made for one of the most emotional scenes, like this scene and the scene with Black Widow and Bruce Banner earlier on, these are two of my favorite scenes in the movie, just because like they know the characters and they portray them so well, and they do such a good job of telling us the story here between these two, and they do a good job of building that character dynamic, and I really appreciated that, because Loki, he's still. Like, they're both hurt. That's what it comes down to. Like, they're both extremely powerful beings, and they both have their characteristics that they hide behind. But when it comes down to it, both these guys are hurting.
Yeah, they both have their emotional baggage, especially something we've got a leak from thanks to the first Thor movie.
Yeah. Loki, because Thor says, Father, and all of us have been weeping for you and mourning you, and Loki goes, oh, you mean your father? He's not my father. Like still carrying around that hurt that we see in Thor 1.
I mean, he's got a point that there's definitely reason to feel definitely a type of anguish there. You know, I mean, you hope in actual situations here in our non-fictional lives that we would eventually find peace, But with Loki, it's kind of like, oh shit, that's a real situation with this fictional character. We get you, buddy. And it made, like you said, for an amazingly awesome scene.
It did. It really did. And I hope that, because I know that this is an action-heavy movie, but I hope that most people who watched the movie took the time to really see that scene for what it was, because it was a really strong scene. And I feel like in the hands of most directors, they maybe would have not even bothered to have that kind of scene in there.
They would have just tried to hastily speed up to the truck skin standoff going on, It's like, oh, okay.
But instead we do get a really powerful scene. And Joss Whedon, he plays it right just perfectly, because it's not too long and it's not too short. We get to see the reunion between Thor and Loki, and then Loki also explains a little bit about what's happening, because Thor, once again, this is the moment where I feel like we all missed it, but Thor's like, where'd you get that staff from? Like, who's giving you all this? And like us as the viewers, it just goes right over our heads. We don't even think about,
like, we're so fascinated by the idea, like, oh, look at them, they're up on the rock.
We don't even think about like the awesomeness of the scene, like, or what they're trying to imply. We don't start to think about, okay, who is Loki working for? Like, it's the second time they mentioned it. Like, who is he working for here? Technically, I think at this point it's the third time, because there's a scene early on with Loki and the other, and they were having some so they also do a little bit of world building here too, and then placing some Easter eggs here. But then Thor is promptly tackled by Iron Man, and fight scene ensues. I don't have to refer to my notes here. I remember where I have written down, and I thought that this fight scene was equally awesome and bad.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to explain that thought process. Yeah.
Yeah, because and I'm sorry, people, because here's the thing with me: 9 times out of 10, I do a really good job of separating the worlds. I do a really good job, I think, of not letting comic book lore influence my watching of movies too much. But believe me when I say that 8 days out of the week, Thor would kick Iron Man's ass.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely got the power to overpower the suit, you know?
Well, in the movie, like, it charges up Iron Man's suit.
Like, yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry.
what is it Jarvis said? Battery capacity at 300%.
Yeah, like 300 or 400%. Like, okay.
Yeah, and Tony's just like, like, okay. Maybe if Iron Man prepped for that fight, if he knew Thor was going to be his combat partner there, then it's like, I could kind of see him making a battery capable of storing that kind of crap.
Like the Thor Buster suit, he survived longer, but Thor would still whoop that ass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Yeah. But like I said, the fight was a lot of fun to watch. Like, watching the fight again, it looked really good. And
then the amazing like combo attack. I love the combo call outs in the movies, dude. I really do. Like Iron Man, his famous unibeam and the shield, and like directing that shit. Like, what? I love that. I love that awesome team up.
Oh yeah, at the end of the battle.
Right, yeah. In this moment, I loved like the mini nova that they create with the hammer meeting the shield,
right?
And it's like, oh shit, this forest was killed. Congratulations, you just killed these trees. What did they do to you?
Yeah,
you know.
It's like Kevin said. So eventually, Captain America comes on the scene here and intervenes, and he's able to stop the two from fighting for a little bit, and then he goes, "Put down the hammer." And the line that Thor actually drops is, did you say put down the hammer? Yeah. All this time I thought it was drop the hammer.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was drop the hammer too. Damn. Nope. That's the way we've been quoting it. Yeah. Shit. I literally said that earlier. Yeah. Put down the hammer. No. He really likes his hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah. Oh, also, one thing we also didn't talk about here was because one thing that I feel like a lot of people maybe didn't want to give any attention to, but I most certainly did because I was really curious even then, was how the hell did Thor get back to Earth? You know, we know how Loki got there. He wasn't even on Asgard. Like he had the means.
Right.
He used the cube and the staff as a way to communicate with one another to get himself to Earth. But I was like, how did Thor get there? And I mean, it's a quick write off in the movie, but they say that Loki says something along the lines of, "How much dark energy did Odin have to use to get you here?"
Okay.
Yeah.
That's at least they made the effort.
Yeah. At least they made the effort. You know, they gave us something versus Thor just showing up. That would have been unacceptable.
Right. You know, one thing that I do actually agree with another popular franchise about.
What's that?
So, the How It Should Have Ended. I love those little YouTube clips, right?
Yeah.
This one is famous, and it held in my mind because this was a damn good point. Like, you know, How It Should Have Ended, they do these fun little cartoon animation, little clips of like plot points and funny-ish moments and what the hell happened moments in movies, right? And this one, obviously, the big Truxkin standoff is happening, and everyone's having this kick-ass fight, and then they all stop and go up and look at Loki, who's like giggling on the rock ledge. And he's
right. I forgot about that.
And it's like, wait, guys, shouldn't we be worried about that? Why isn't he trying to run away while we're all distracted with each other? And it's literally a great question. Like, what, guys? That should have been a huge red flag exclamation point highlighted for you. Like, the chaos god is standing there just watching, not trying to run.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like we mentioned earlier. Like, you know, he gave up way too easy, and now he's not running. Now he's not running away when he has the chance.
Yeah. Now he's just like sitting back watching, like comfortably.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a little bit later on here where Nick Fury, he's talking with the Avenger, and he's like, "And how come I feel like he's the only one who wants to be on this ship right now?"
Yeah. No, that's a damn good point. Like luckily they did actually give Nick Fury moments like that because his character was the one who always saw more of the picture.
Yeah,
you know?
he always tries to think outside of the box. Yeah.
And I'm glad you're right. They did actually call some attention to it, but it's like that's a good point. How it should have ended. Well done, guys.
Yeah. So I have here also the Avengers' first meeting on the helicarrier is equally awkward and awesome, and because it is like, and when I say awkward, I mean in a good way. But like when we see like after they capture Loki again, after the big fight, and the three of them finally calm down, and they take Loki back to the helicarrier. It's the first time that we see all the Avengers in one scene, of course with the exception of Hawkeye, who is still working for Loki at this point.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was a really fun scene because Robert Downey, he comes in with his charisma, man, and he just dazzles the scene, man.
Oh yeah. Making fun of the computers, doing the whole one eye, like how does Nick Fury do this?
Right. I mean, like this is one of the most charismatic moments we've ever seen Iron Man.
Oh
like Robert Downey Jr. do.
Like coming up and trying to own the room and successfully coming off like he does.
Right. Yeah. And it's a really well done scene. And I really enjoyed this scene here. I'll explain at a later point, but I wish that they had limited these type scenes.
You mean kind of like put a less pressure out of the fire hose of Robert's charisma?
Yeah.
Because he definitely was spitting it like there's no end.
Right. Yeah.
And the audience ate it up. People loved it. Yeah. But you wish they did less?
Yeah, because eventually this movie starts to feel like Iron Man and Friends.
Right, and that's a common joke, especially, and it's easy to even get the feeling of it just from the movie poster, because you see Iron Man standing there all badass, and then you see like everyone else like off in the distance, like a bad 90s band album cover, It's like, what the shit is this, man? Want to be Dawson's Creek? No, that's not Iron Man and Friends. So you have a great point, actually. Yeah.
But this scene over here I thought was appropriate though, so I didn't mind this scene at all. I thought it was great. But there's other scenes throughout the movie at a later point where I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of beating that tree a little hard now.
I know, right? Like we get it. He's charismatic. He's got a fun energy. Right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Ian, FJ, or whatever the hell his personality is.
Something also that kind of irked me watching some of the Blu-ray extras. Which were really fun to watch, by the way. But, at one point, I think it was even Joss Whedon or someone on scene, maybe Kevin Feige, and they were like, Iron Man, he's kind of like the leader of the Avengers. And I'm like, no, he's not.
No.
Since when?
I know, right?
Like, if Captain America's on the team, Captain America is leading the bitch. Iron Man may be funding.
Yeah, and he was definitely a reliable voice, and even a voice of reason sometimes, but he was never the flat out only leader. Like no.
Exactly. He doesn't lead like that.
I will say this though. He did lead more in the following scenes where Robert literally broke out of character and hid food on the set, and they finally said, "You know what? We're gonna just let you do it." Like the whole blueberry bit he's doing, guys.
Yeah,
that was improv. That was just out of the blue, not scripted at all.
Yeah.
So he's literally eating blueberries, and he's like, "Hey, Mark, you did good. Have a blueberry. Good job."
Yeah, and I also love like how Chris Evans never broke. Like with Mark Ruffalo, I'm not saying that he broke.
No. Like
Mark Ruffalo
he jumped on board real quick.
Mark Ruffalo kind of had like this little trauma about him. Like he kind of like this smirk on his face,
like he was a good boy.
Yeah.
Like, I just got blueberry.
Right. But Chris Evans like just completely ignored like the blueberry offer. It was just like
he stayed in character.
Completely. Yeah.
They both did, I think, because Mark was just like,
oh yeah.
I'm gonna have a joy about this.
Yeah, Mark did too, most definitely. Do you remember the Loki and Black Widow scene?
Yes, I do. Because Black really Widow's just showing off her dadgum abilities again.
Yeah, like coming I said, in. I forgot how much I liked her in this movie, man, but she was great.
Yeah. So she came in and she's asking Loki some questions, and she's playing low key, guys. Oh my gosh, I just accidentally made a great pun. She's playing Loki low key.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'm not overplaying it. But she does come in and she's holding back 100% Black Widow. She's coming in like she's shyer and she's more timid and she's asking questions nervously type thing and playing up to him, like making him feel alpha.
Well, she does such a good job because like me as a viewer, I bought it because she was basically saying like, okay, what do I have to do for you to free Clint? Like, I owe him a debt. Like, and the way that Scarlett Johansson plays this part really makes you believe that, oh man, like, yeah,
she's actually nervous
because she's using the truth mixed with deception, which is her forte.
Oh yeah,
she's showing that, like, yeah, I do care for Hawkeye, and I do want you to release him. But I'm
going to tell it to you in a weird way.
Yeah, I'm going to tell it to you and make you think that I'm going to give you what you want for that to happen. I'm going to let you think that you're the major power player here. I'm going to let you think that you have the power here in the situation. And then Tom Hiddleston, I just love the way that he does like this.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
Yeah, because he starts off this scene like, really sympathetic almost towards her, like, oh, I see you really care for him, don't you? Wow, okay. And then he just starts to like berate her and tear her apart, and then tell her how he's gonna kill them both. And it was just super intense. And then Black Widow, she walks away like she's crying, and then during Loki's rant, that's like what he's gonna do. He lets slip that he's gonna have. He basically lets slip that he's gonna
a
have
major detail which revealed his plans, and then she turns around, straight face, serious, all 100% Black Widow again.
Yeah.
So your plan is to release the Hulk on the ship.
So Banner, that's your play. And
and then she walks off, and I love Tom in that scene too, because like he's got that evil, chaotic grin going for him, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Wait, what? What shit just happened?
Yeah.
Did you just flip my deck?" It was great, man. You're right. That was definitely a talented scene between two.
Yeah, and then this leads right into another amazing scene because we get this showdown between like all the Avengers and Nick Fury.
Yes, when Steve Rogers, he brings in the mounted gun. It looks like made for Tesseract energy.
Right.
Drops it and says, "This is their plan."
Yeah,
it was good.
It was great because like. So Nick Fury comes in, and all the Avengers are here, and they're all focusing on Nick Fury at first, and like, what are you doing with this? Like, what's the point of this? You said that you wanted the Tesseract back, that you didn't want, that you weren't going to make weapons out of it. You blatantly lied to us, and then Nick Fury says, well, I got to be honest here now, I guess. But after we saw what the Destroyer could do, we saw that we were outmanned and we were outgunned, and so we wanted to develop something that could protect us from invaders that maybe weren't so friendly as Thor. Which I can understand.
Right, no, it's a great point.
It is a very solid point. And that's the thing about Nick Fury, is that a lot of his decisions are a little morally gray. You can see how they can go either good or bad. But he always does things that he thinks is ultimately.
That's exactly it. He never does something without thinking about it. He definitely sees both sides of the coin and then says, "Okay, that's the side we're doing."
Yeah. He goes, ultimately, like, this is better. It may have some shitty results, but this is the better option here.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what he does. And then at this point, like, all of the Avengers start arguing amongst one another for various reasons. Of course, Tony and Steve go at it, which I love. I love when they plant the seeds here.
Oh yeah,
they plant the seeds really early, but it was necessary. But we have everyone arguing with one another here. Like,
this scene was a great clash, an appropriate clash, a necessary clash of powerful personalities, and that's what we really need to see.
Right, but I love how like this scene ends with Banner. Banner, he finally realizes that, that little cell that you built for Loki was actually built for me.
Right, that's the Hulk cell. Okay,
yeah. And he goes, well, you guys want to know my secret? You really want to know my secret? And then Steve is like, Bruce, put the staff down. And then we see that
he's holding the staff. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's holding Loki's scepter. Like, oh, how did this get in my hand? And so it's at this point we realize that Loki's been using that staff like as a way, because the staff has the mind gem, and they've been using that, or Loki's been using that to affect all of them, and it has worked like a charm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's right at this point where Hawkeye comes in with his crew and blows a giant hole in the helicarrier, and they infiltrate the ship.
Costing them millions of helicarrier dollars, man.
Probably still billions. Who we kidding?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but no. So at this point, this is another really because this whole section is like good scene after good scene.
It really is. Yeah. The whole fight scene here, where we see Jeremy Renner finally cross back over to the good side, and the awesome cut still. This fights.
The fight with him and Black Widow. There's the fight with him and Black Widow that's going on. Well, before that fight though, even we got to mention there's the point where Bruce Banner changes to the Hulk.
Yep.
Black Widow, she's trying to calm him down, but she forgot to tell him that the sun's getting low.
Exactly. I was just about to make that joke. Yeah. Oh shit! No, I can't say that. The sun's still rising. This is movie 1.
Yep. Well, what's really funny though, just really quick here, is that fast forwarding a little bit for a second, is that right after this whole big scene, I think one of the Shieldaki goes, "Sir, which way should we take the ship?" And Nick Fury goes, "It's the sun rising, then take it east." And I'm like,
Huh.
Yeah, because in my mind when I watched that scene yesterday, I just also made the joke to myself about the sun's getting low, big guy. You need,
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't.
At first, it flashed another characteristic of Nick Fury to me when I first saw it in theaters. It's like, oh, even with all this awesome technology and all these advances and units at his disposal, he's always still practical. He's like, oh, well, I'm not forgetting. I don't need a compass to tell me which direction I'm going.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
But you're right. That does also ironically play to the infamous, the sun's getting low, buddy.
Yeah. So back to this big scene with the helicarrier basically on fire. There's a lot going on here. I mean, so Bruce Banner, he's hulked out and he's chasing Black Widow down.
Yep.
And then eventually that breaks down to a fight between him and Thor.
Awesome.
Bruce,
awesome.
not Bruce, I'm sorry. Tony and Steve, they were like, put the suit on, let's fight. Oh shit, put the suit on, man.
I know, right?
And so those two are now forced to work together to get one of the engines back up and running while fighting off SHIELD agents.
Actually, they're both working on separate engines too for a while, aren't they?
No, they're working on the same engine because only one engine's down.
That's right. Iron Man's flying and Cap is using a gun for the first time in the movie.
Using like a AK look like. So there's just a lot going on, and then of course, after we get the Bruce or the Hulk and Thor fight, what you think of that?
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I wanted to see it, dude.
Yeah,
of course.
We all wanted to see that.
Oh yeah, I mean, Thor is definitely one of the most powerful members on the team. He's up there, debatably 1 or 2, whatever your fancy. But Hulk is right beside him, so it's awesome thing seeing these actual powerhouses going at it, and you're just like, this is too confined of a space,
right? And I hate when people ask me, who do I think would win in a fight between Hulk and Thor?
Gosh.
And my lazy response is, depends on which comic I'm reading.
That's a fitting one. I still like it, lazy or not.
It's because that's a difficult question to answer, man.
Dude, it's so hard. You got to sit them down and be like, okay, how much time you got?
They're like, we're talking about like World Breaker Hulk, because if so, World Breaker Hulk definitely wins. Or am I talking about like the complete God Thor? If so, then Thor wins. Maybe.
Right.
There's a lot of variables, but this was a really fun fight, and I love how they kept it ambiguous as to who had the upper hand.
I just have another complicated question, which I'll ask off mic at a later time. I'm not wasting time by asking this question now. So let's move on.
Okay. Don't forget then.
I will not forget. Trust me, because I do. Oh shit!
It wasn't Hulk versus Thanos, was it?
No. I already know that.
Okay,
shit. It was more World Breaker Hulk versus Complete God Thor.
Well, see, now we're back at square one.
Exactly. Now it's like, that's the point. That's why I didn't want to bring it up. Damn it.
I would. Okay, just really quick here. I would still say World Breaker Hulk, because World Breaker Hulk went toe to toe with Sentry, and they both fought until they reverted to their base forms.
Okay.
To like Robert Reynolds and Bruce Banner. Yeah, they fought to that point.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It was great. It seemed like those two just slug it out, like this fight between these two gods at this point. And then they're fighting, and then all of a sudden they're just Bruce and Robert.
Yeah, and they're just like, do we want to do this anymore?
Well, this one, they were both so exhausted that they just fell out. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to the movie though. I felt that was a great scene between Hulk and Thor.
Oh yeah,
love that fight. I loved also because I was gonna be really pissed if Hulk picked up freaking Mjolnir.
Yeah, no, they could not have given him that.
Yeah, Joss Whedon, he's a big enough comic nerd to know better than to do that.
Oh yeah,
I feel like maybe some other directors would have had Hulk do it, but thankfully Joss Whedon knows a whole lot better than that.
Plus, the way that he did do it, I really enjoyed. I'm sure audiences everywhere enjoyed it, where Hulk is trying to pick it up. Like, he actually does put attention to it, and he can't. And he's like, and he's just hulking out about it. Like, shit, dude, you're not going to pick it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a really fun scene to see. Of course, it ends with a Hulk going after a freaking guy in a fighter jet. That poor bastard, man. You should have picked a different target.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And so because like there's a lot of chaos going on here, and so we go over to like the there's the Hawkeye and Black Widow fight now. Mm-hmm. That's really fun. That was a really good fight too.
Because there are two basic humans with exceptional skills going at it, and it's like, oh, cool, okay, espionage versus archery almost,
And so that was a really good fight, and I feel like what they were trying to tell us is that like who wins this fight it depends on the day of the week, you know, like it's up in the air.
Who had the better breakfast?
Yeah. It can be argued that there's a part of Hawkeye that was trying to hold back. There's a deleted scene earlier that kind of hints at it. Actually,
okay, that's cool.
It's something. But that was a good fight. And later on, like he asked, "How'd you fix me?" And she goes, "I had to recalibrate your brain." And I was like, "So you had to knock him the fuck out?"
Exactly. You had to knock that pisser around.
And then of course there's the Iron Man and Captain America scene, and they're the ones who's actually trying to get the engine back up and running and all that, and that was fun too. It was the least interesting of the different scenes, but it was necessary though. You know?
It definitely helped to continue the actual chaotic plot of the crashing billions of dollars ship.
And then of course we see Thor after Hulk has left the ship. We see Thor go after Loki because he realizes what's happening, and then he falls for that same damn trick. Loki standing in the doorway of the cell. Thor goes to tackle him. He goes right through Loki because it's an illusion. And then Loki, almost in a meta sense, brings up a really good question. He goes, "They say that we're immortal, so I wonder if this will kill you." And then he drops the giant cell that Thor's in, and I'm like, because like what does it take to kill an Asgardian? Like, do you only die of natural causes, or no, you don't die of natural causes,
right?
What do you die of? Like, what eventually leads you to Valhalla? Is it just death on the battlefield?
No idea.
Nope. But before he drops Thor, though, we see Agent Coulson come up with that big ass gun and a great scene. He goes,
I wonder what this does.
Yeah, he goes, R&D's been working on this since the destroyer attack. Even I don't know what it does. And then of course it's another damn illusion, and Coulson, he gets stabbed. And damn, I feel like that broke a lot of people's hearts, mine included, because Coulson was literally like this nobody who turned because of like the charisma of Clark Gregg. Like, I feel like he really breathed a lot of life into that role, because he was kind of our really first connection to this larger universe.
Right, he was the bridgeway that helped us introduce the idea of this long ass name organization. Oh wait, we shortened it to SHIELD.
Yeah,
and we're all like, what? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that is what that long name stood for. No, and then it was really cool what they did, off subject now, with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show, because I feel like that is definitely within the realms of comics. You know? And let's face it, it is within the comic realm, obviously, to rebirth a character, to give him life again.
In the world of comic books, being stabbed is the most tame way to die. Like, I feel like like in the world of comic books, you can definitely be brought back from that.
Easy. A good quality nurse fixes you up. I mean, it's not like being sent to another dimension or some bullshit. I was in another dimension,
being disintegrated. Or, Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, his death though had a heavy impact though, man, and it was done very well. Because like like I said, it had just Agent Coulson, man. He really was kind of a fan favorite among a lot of people, So it was like, shit, they got Coulson.
Yeah. And, plus, to an extent, he wasn't the comedic break from the story.
No,
but he also served as that in a sense sometimes,
Yeah.
Like he was there helping out with good joke making. Right. It was awesome, you know.
Well, what made it so great though was that because I was trying to find the right way to define the correct type of comedy, because this is what it is. He wasn't going out of his way to be jokey or funny,
right?
Agent Coulson was being Agent Coulson, but him being him was funny,
right?
Because
like a situation.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah. I also like kind of like the last conversation he has with Loki before Loki leaves. Loki, he drops Thor in that giant Hulk pod, and Loki's about to leave, and then Agent Coulson, he's still alive, and he goes, you won't win, right? And then Loki stops and walks over to him and goes, like, what do you mean? What'd you say to me?
Yeah.
He goes, you won't win. And Loki goes, and why do you think that? And Agent Coulson's response is, because you lack conviction. And then Loki kind of thinks on that, and then he leaves. What do you think he meant by that? By you lack conviction?
That is actually a great point. And I feel like at that point we get at that point in the movie we get almost a bit of a philosophical dose. Something that did shake our villain. Because he walked away from it, like you said, and it was just like, and he didn't respond to it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I said, it is philosophical, which means that is up for debate.
Absolutely.
But in my mind, in my translation, what Kevin Keister's book is going to say it meant is that Loki was in the mindset that this was a game set match. Like he had his plot and he was going to do it, and there was going to be no interruption. Whereas the heroes, their job their objective, as we mentioned earlier in the villains podcast, Role of the Villains, their mindset was, no, we have to keep the world at peace here. We have to stop this evil plot. We have to stop this world-breaking plot. And we have to do everything in our power. And they had the motivation, the conviction to do that, to pull through with it. And then, of course, Coulson's death, as we'll talk about more in detail here in a minute, I'm sure, pulled them together. They became unified under the same banner of, no, we got to do this shit. He's bringing down our own now,
Right.
Not just us, but others around us. Thus, they actually team together. Thus, they get their shit together. Thus, they actually work together finally and give us the results that we need to put little divots and then dents and then finally breaking points in the huge plot that is Loki's evil plan.
Right.
And thus, he thought he was going to win. He wasn't prepped for fixing shit. Right. He was like, oh shit, they're breaking my stuff, my hole in the wall, my hole in the sky is being closed. For falafel. That's what I'm going to say. Or excuse me, correction. Yes, shawarma.
That's a really good observation on it. I like that.
Thank you.
I almost feel though that Agent Coulson, and this is just my personal theory on it. I feel that Agent Coulson knew that secretly Loki didn't care to win, because this whole plan, it's not his. The outcome is not even for Loki. Like, this is all for Thanos. This is Thanos' plan. This is Thanos' staff. This is Thanos' army that he's going to use. It all belongs to Thanos.
Well, and this is a dangerous assumption coming into my mind. But let me ask you this real quick, mid description here, if you don't mind. Wouldn't it be easy to assume, however, that Loki was still getting something out of it, that he was still reaping some type of reward, like he was giving a corner of the universe or some cool shit, or maybe some type of you will rule. Or I will help you in the conquering of Asgard after this, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe I can definitely see that too. That he's receiving some type of reward, but I don't think it's the type of reward that Loki would want.
Okay,
Loki is an egomaniac, which is why he set up the porter thing right in the middle of New York City on top of Stark Tower.
True.
I mean, Loki wants. Not only does Loki want acceptance, he wants to be known as
the one who conquered. Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, if this plan succeeded, it would be Thanos' plan that conquered. It'd be Thanos who won the day, not Loki.
And Loki was just a really cool bishop in making the king's moves.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe that was part of it. I think maybe also Loki knew that he wasn't going to win. And the reason I thought that in the first place was because my first thought was that Loki maybe secretly wasn't fully compelled himself to win.
Okay. I don't know if I fully agree with a technicality, which you said earlier, just now.
Yeah.
About he didn't want to win. I feel like he still wanted this to at least succeed. At least he wanted this to happen. Now, whether or not he cared about it, exactly. That I agree with that.
I feel like that's semantics at this point, though.
True. Yeah. Very true. But no, again, I have to turn my compliment or your compliment around and get right back to you, because this is also an astute observation you've made. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Because
either way, he loses.
Exactly. Either way, I won. Oh, Thanos won.
Yeah.
Oh, Thanos lost. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Good point.
But yeah, I really like that scene though, of Coulson Land, like how his almost his last words were "You lack conviction," and then, but of course he dies almost in the hands of Nick Fury.
Which, let's give it to Coulson again, dude. Let's just call some props on this man, because what human would think to say that to a god?
Right. I guess at this point, I'm sorry, I completely told a fabricated lie.
Oh shit!
Loki does not just leave. Coulson uses that big ass gun and shoots him out.
That's right. Okay.
And then he goes, "Oh yeah, that's what it does." Yeah.
And that was his dying words.
No, he says a couple more to Nick Fury, and he's about to say one last sentence to Nick Fury, but he never finishes it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, losing Agent Coulson was a blow, but I mean, I hate to sound so grim all the time, but it was necessary for the movie. Like, someone had to go. Someone who we cared about.
Something to unify the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
You dark sonic son of a gun. You're so grim.
Yeah. So next I have on here, there's the big, it's about to kick off like one of the biggest scenes in the movie. I think this fight scene is close to 20 minutes long. It's a long one, man. Like it's got to be one of the longest in cinema history.
Yeah,
like longer than some of the Matrix fight scenes. It's up there. So Tony, his suit is busted up because he just got slung around in the engine for a while, and there's all kinds of.
And the new helicarrier branded Shredder. This big ass Shredder will cut everything you need. Paper, no problem. Safes, cool. Iron Man suits, okay.
Yeah. He goes back to Stark Tower to get a new suit, and he sees that Loki's already there and that he set up shop on top of Stark Tower. And as he's landing there, he's like, "Okay, Jarvis, I need the Mach 7." And Jarvis is like, "Well, it's not complete, sir." Iron Man goes, "Well, you need to put a freaking rush on it."
Yeah, exactly. Put a rush order, damn it.
And he goes down, and Loki sees through Tony Stark's BS, and is like, "You're stalling." And Tony's like, "I'm not stalling, I'm threatening." Okay. He's doing the thing.
Classic Robert Charm.
Yeah. Asking Loki if he wants, do you want a drink? You gotta give you something to drink.
Yeah.
And all
classy
that.
Move. Classy move with a drink and a glass.
Yeah. And he's definitely trying to buy himself some time so Jarvis can finish the suit. And it ends with, of course, there's also the cool line where Loki goes,
"Oh, of course,
yeah, I have an army, or we have a Hulk."
Yeah, which is cool wit again.
It
it's
is
like, shit, dude.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm like, technically, right now, you don't know that you have one because Bruce Banner, you don't know where he's at.
You're playing poker right now, man. Yeah.
And Loki kind of calls you bluff because he throws
He's still riding some little moped, just like.
Yeah. So Loki throws him out of a window, which I don't know what kind of glass Stark Tower uses. I mean, that shit could have been fatal right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like not even hitting the ground, but just going through
it, and then all of a sudden Robert doesn't have a single glass cut or nothing.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh wow, that happened perfectly. Wow, what a coincidence.
I am so glad I used that sugar glass on my
sugar glass, licks the glass. Oh crap, need replacing it.
Yep. But while he's talking with Loki, he slips on a couple of like little bracelets, and these bracelets, of course, summon the new suit.
Right.
And so the suit, like, it finally finishes at just the last second, and it shoots out, and it wraps itself around Tony's body.
Doesn't Loki even kind of like watch it fly out the window?
Well,
like
the thing shoots out like a cannon right past Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Another cool deleted scene is Bruce Banner when he finally goes back to Bruce Banner. He's no longer the Hulk, and he falls through like the some kind of building where the security guard is at.
Sure.
Yeah, there's an extended scene which I thought was pretty good. It's really just more of those two talking. But of course, this security guard was a hilarious character.
Okay.
So of course, Bruce, he wakes up and the guy goes, so I saw you fall through the roof there, and you were big and green, and now you're not. Goes, so I gotta ask you this. After he gives Banner some clothes and all that, he goes, let me ask you, are you a really big guy who sometimes turns little, or are you a little guy who sometimes turns really big?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember he went into the like, are you an alien?
Yeah. Yes. And
what was Bruce's response? I wonder.
He goes, sometimes I don't know. Which was
Ooh, resonating.
Yeah.
Man.
And he goes, I need to get to New York, but at the same time, I don't know if I really need to be there. That's basically what Bruce is implying. Like he's kind of conflicted. He doesn't know what he really should do. And the guy goes, well, and at this point, the guy, he goes more from a
janitor cleaning up.
Yeah, to more. More from a committee role. It's like more of a
the sage.
Yeah, more of a sagely role, and he eventually says, it sounds like you've already made up your mind. You know where you need to be, and
we need more wise janitors.
Yeah.
What happened to the wise janitors?
I look more like a security guard.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
We need more wise workers like that. Janitors, security guards, things like that.
Yeah.
Lucius Foxes. We need more of them. Yeah.
And then he goes, I reckon that I probably won't be needing this right now, so why don't you go ahead and take it? And he points to the old beat up moped. Yeah.
I kind of wish they put that in there.
Yeah. It was a nice scene. It was a nice touch. I guess maybe they feel like it would have maybe slowed down the pace a little bit.
I see that.
But it was still a good scene.
Okay.
Yeah, so now this is when we start this really long fight scene here.
Really well done.
It was super well done. I really enjoyed it. There is another funny moment that I like to mention from the deleted scenes.
Okay.
And so of course with the deleted scenes, the CG is completely non-finished, and
I can only imagine what the hell this scene looks like with that.
So this scene I'm referring to right here is the scene where, and it's also an extended scene with Black Widow and Hawkeye. It's those two fighting a bunch of Chitauri.
Sure.
And it's an extended scene of it, so we get to see more of them kicking ass at this point together.
Okay.
And so, like I said, it's an extended scene, but they never bothered to finish it for the movie. So we have a big green background, and we have a bunch of guys in gray suits with the dots all over them. And it was just funny seeing them fight these guys from this perspective. I was actually real surprised at how many stunts Jeremy and Scarlett did. They did a lot of their own stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. It was really fun to see them like do their own shit.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeremy Renner didn't even realize this, but every single last arrow was CG. He never even grabbed one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, he never even did this motion, or
He did the motion.
Okay. So
but yeah, as far as him, like his quiver is actually empty.
oh damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I never even noticed that.
Yeah. Which makes sense,
yeah.
I guess. Because then what if he accidentally kept shooting him poorly? Because
Right.
pew. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I thought that maybe he had a real one up until the point of fire, and then they CG'd.
Okay.
But no.
Was the bow like a actual bow, or was like the string and everything CG, or what?
The string was CG. Like you remember when he grabs his bow and like he kind of does like this motion where he kind of extends his arm really quick.
Yeah,
and the rest
like
of the bow
laps out.
Yeah. That's CG. But
Of
like
course.
the base of the bow was real.
I was about to say, because I can't think of a quality bow that's able to do that.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
I mean, this is that that shield technology, man.
Of course, that Hawkeye. Whoosh, this is my bow.
Yeah. But. So yeah, seeing them doing their own shit was really cool. But by far, the funniest part of this deleted scene was definitely the end. And so Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're still kicking Chitauri ass.
Okay.
And then like there's one that's like about to get the upper hand on Black Widow, and out of nowhere, Captain America comes with a flying knee to the side of this guy's
Nice.
like completely just like off camera. He just comes flying in, and it was just so funny to see in the context of like this green screen.
Yeah.
just to see Chris Evans flying through the air. Oh,
That's great.
You really have to watch it. Like it was just funny to see.
Like you don't expect it, and all of a
You
sudden
don't expect it.
You're
Yeah.
just like, oh, cool.
Like, oh shit, where the hell did Cap come from?
Yeah.
Like, I got your back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. The Chitauri are woefully dull. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect them to, of course, have any kind of individual characteristics. I mean, shit, they don't even have that in the comics.
Yeah.
But what I mean by dull is like they, even as a group, don't have a personality.
No, they're all just like single-minded soldiers.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes sense.
I don't mind that they're even single-minded, but like them as a group have no personality. Like there's nothing there.
Like they're all clones.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
I mean, like they don't show to be fearsome. They don't show to be aggressive. They don't show to be, like they don't show to have any kind of anything.
Any characteristics.
Yeah.
They're just pawns.
Yeah.
Like mindless space-related pawns.
Right.
With big-ass warm tanks.
Yeah. Now with Infinity War coming out, we've already seen, of course, the trailer. Of course, we've seen the trailer, but there was the new freaking henchman, and the first time I saw that henchman was in the Infinity comic book.
Okay.
And I think they're called like the Outriders. But these things have like, and they look really fearsome in the trailer. But they have like 4 arms, and they're pretty gruesome looking in the trailer. And they look accurate, and they look good. But one thing about them in the comic is that even though they were just like little throwaway pawns, is that they did have characteristics.
Good.
Like they did have personality, and so I hope that they can implement that in the Infinity War movie.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so that's one thing about the Chitauri, that they really were just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But this entire fight scene though was really well done. Just an awesome action scene. I mean, like there's just, I mean, like the whole thing is just a great, awesome CG battle, and like seeing also a lot of these deleted scenes, how a lot of it was done, like seeing because at one point there's just like a completely generated Iron Man, like jumping out of a digital window. None of it's real at all. Just completely, like stage 1 CG.
Yeah.
And then like it cuts into like an actual scene on a set.
Yeah.
Where like you see like the green screen, and then you see actual actors, fighting.
Yeah.
We see the cool moment where Cap and Thor are fighting together, and And I don't know how they did this. I don't know if it was just natural or if they had some kind of strings, but the cool scene where Thor and Captain America both catch the shield and hammer. Kudos to Chris Evans, because like there's the strap that goes around. So I don't know who threw the shield at him, for him to catch it, but he caught it like perfectly. And of course, Chris Evans. There's the scene where Chris Hemsworth. There's the scene where he fumbles the hammer while Chris Evans finishes his motion. Like he's fighting someone, and and Hemsworth is still trying to catch his hammer.
That's great.
But
putting a little comedy in a serious fight.
No, it's because it was just a gag reel where he accidentally didn't catch the hammer. But there's a lot of fun and a lot of fun in this fight scene here. Of course, we have the scene where Bruce Banner shows up on the moped and and then that giant Chitauri space worm dragon thing.
Whatever it was, the flying space worm dragon.
That thing shows up, and we get the iconic scene. That's my secret. I'm always angry. And then he transforms into Hulk and bashes the shit out of that thing.
Kind of cool how he just kind of does it mid-turn. Like he's like, I'm always angry. And as soon as he starts turning, he's phasing green.
It looks so cool that the time... No, I take that back. Even then, I questioned. Because to me, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because, like, if that's your secret, then what happened on the Shield helicarrier?
You released just enough anger. Just a smidge, not enough to feed the Hulk, but just a smidge.
Because one difference between like the Incredible Hulk movie and this movie is that in the Incredible Hulk movie, they imply that like high stress activates the Hulk. So like any kind of excitement, not just anger, but any kind of extreme emotion ignites the Hulk. But in this movie, they more strictly imply that it's anger. So I don't know what happened for him to transform into the helicarrier.
Well, see, Mark Ruffalo actually gained that power where he could just kill stress altogether. You see, he's always stressed out. I don't know, man. That's a good point. But one thing that I want to call attention to, just to bash this movie again, stomp it in the nuts. So apparently in this movie, Mark Ruffalo was always angry and he could just turn around and then turn Hulk, no problem. But then in Ragnarok, when he's trying to, rely on the Hulk and turn Hulk all of a sudden, jumping out of that damn ship. Of course, he still hits freaking Rainbow Road human because he can't turn Hulk on whim. Not in that movie, apparently. This one, yes. That one, no.
I didn't think about that. But I'm trying to be devil's advocate here and think of a reason.
No, please do. If you can explain it, then explain it for sure. Because I know I'm looking at that like, wait a minute, did he get worse at being Hulk?
Well, maybe so, because he was Hulk for, I think they said, for a couple years straight.
On that planet.
On Sakaar. So maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe because he hasn't been transforming in a while that he couldn't.
You don't work out the muscle. The muscle goes down. Sure.
I won't fault the movie for that.
I will.
I understand. I understand.
Man,
that was one of the scenes though in Ragnarok that made me genuinely laugh.
Oh no, it made me laugh too. Don't get me wrong. Like everyone laughed at that crap. It was great.
Like, oh, he's so dead. That dog was like, what the shit?
Douche.
But so but back to Avengers though. His transformation here was a really cool sight to see. But did it make the most sense? Not to me.
Not really. It made for a cool mouth grabbing scene.
It did. It was a cool line and then a cool transformation. But what can you do?
What can you do?
Apparently
you can punch the shit out of the Thor even when he's holding his hammer. That's what you can do.
I love seeing Cap be Cap, and what I mean by that is that there's a scene where like he's telling everyone what to do. He's telling like the police officers what they need to do to protect the people. He's telling the Avengers, okay, Tony, we need you up here in the air for air support. Thor, we need you with crowd control. Hawkeye, you need to do this.
Take Sniper's position up top.
Black Widow, you with me here on the ground. Hulk, smash. That whole thing.
I wasn't a fan of the Hulk smash.
No,
I was. I heard that and I was like, "Oh, you're got to be kidding me!"
I actually
you
like
gotta
that.
cork hole that up in there. You're gonna just say, "All right, here's the line."
I don't know. I enjoyed that, man. Like it didn't feel out of place to me. It felt appropriate. I mean, because what can the Hulk really fully comprehend? We still don't know. So I mean, just telling the Hulk to smash, I thought it was good. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the delivery was off for me. Maybe I saw that and it made me just roll my eyes. I don't know. Maybe I was having a bad day when I watched that scene.
Maybe
I don't
so.
know.
Maybe you need to watch it again.
Maybe so. But just
I still bought it. Like they still got me
off the cuff. I did roll my eyes. It's like, oh, what the shit, Chris? Come on, bruh. You're better than that.
No, you're still cool in my book, Chris.
No, you're definitely still cool, Chris. Don't get me wrong.
I still thoroughly enjoyed.
Come be on the podcast with us and Joss. All right, but yeah, we got this awesome fight scene.
Yeah, so the moving action set piece is comic gold, and actually I referred to that a little bit earlier as far as like the unfinished CG version.
Right.
But like seeing the complete version of the movie was great, and this one we see like there's like they're kind of panning over this entire action scene, and we're seeing each hero do like their unique cool thing.
Yeah,
and it's really
cool
to see
their skills.
Right. Yeah, it was extremely cool to see. Like this was a huge action set piece that was meticulously put together by some poor bastard
for building up his ultimate skill and all of a sudden unleashing the thunderbolt. And
then there's a bunch stuff. And then like I said earlier, this is where all the team ups come in. Like you have like Cap and Iron Man, doing their thing where Iron Man does the repulsor ray off the shield, and then
freaking love it.
That entire part was actually all CG. Like none of that was even.
Of course not.
A lot of people thought that was actually Chris Evans because the way they pan over it, that was not Chris Evans standing there at all. That was all completely CG. But yeah, there's a lot of cool moments. There's the moment I mentioned also earlier where Cap catches the shield the same time that Thor catches Mjolnir, and they're standing side by side and they're fighting. I mean, there's just a lot going on here. Hulk is smashing, Hulk smash. I said it.
Oh, damn it. No.
And then we get the scene where Hulk he makes his way up to where Loki is, and then Loki fails the persuasion check.
He did not have enough points in charisma.
He did not have
the Hulk.
I am a god. Looks like all they needed this entire time was Hulk.
Exactly. Hulk would have just taken care of some shit, man.
Had Hulk gotten a hold of Loki when they were both in the helicarrier, maybe this movie would have been a lot shorter.
Puny god. Great scene,
it was.
Dude.
And then what's even funnier is that Loki stayed there to the end of the movie.
Exactly. Like he's just like like he was a divot in Iron Man's floor. It's like, so that's what concrete feels like. All up in my costume.
If I were Tony, I would never get that fixed.
No,
I would leave that part as
you just like build homage around it, and you just like pay to it, and just say this is Loki's body stain in my floor. The Hulk caused this, and its partner one right here.
Right. Now, fortunately, this isn't just like a really long fight scene just for the sake of awesome fighting. Eventually, like we see the Avengers get wore down, man. Like we see them, start to,
they've expanded all their skill points. Man. They gotta think of something else.
Basically, and they're not able to hold up for too long. Like everyone's getting overwhelmed, all of them. And I thought that was really appropriate for the movie to do, because we can't just see them kicking ass for 20 minutes straight, and then
come and resolve the issue.
Right?
There has to be some kind of turmoil.
So it becomes painstakingly clear that they just can't kill them all. And so Black Widow, she's able to devise a plan with Dr. Selvig to actually shut down the portal, but they need Loki's staff. So Black Widow gets Loki's staff, and she's trying to shut it down. Fortunately, the big heads over at the ones that are talking to Nick Fury this whole time, they're like, well, we've initiated phase 2 ourselves, and there's this fighter jet that goes off with a bomb to nuke New York City to contain the Chitauri invasion, to stop it all there against Nick Fury's command. And so Nick Fury, he warns, he warns Tony Stark, and Tony, Tony, he's able to take the missile and guide it through the portal, throw it at like the Chitauri base ship in outer space, which explodes the Chitauri base. And once the Chitauri base explodes, all the Chitauri die. Yeah, that's very convenient. Tony Stark falls back through the portal as it closes up, and Hulk catches him.
Very traumatic.
It was very traumatic,
as we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and in the sense of the movie, it did make sense for Tony to do it,
right?
For a couple of reasons. The main reason being is because, like, if it was Thor, then it would have. That would have been the smartest thing to do. Right. Thor, I'm sure, is faster than Iron Man. Yeah. And also, if Thor gets stuck in outer space, it's no big deal.
Right. He can be like, oh, guess I'll go home.
Yeah.
And then just call out to his boy, Homir. Oh, shit. I didn't say it right. Did I say it right? Homir?
Mjolnir?
No, not Mjolnir. Damn it. The shit, I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, Heimdall. You talking about Heimdall?
Heimdall, thank you. Shit. I'm done. Keep talking. Yeah. I'm going home.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, he could have called out the Heimdall and said, hey, where am I at? Call me home.
Yeah, come get me.
Come get me. Give me that teleportation light.
Right. Yeah. Give me that Bifrost Bridge Uber. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then get Odin to send me back to Earth because I got to pick up our brother.
Yeah.
Oh man. But seeing Iron Man do it was just like the final nail in the coffin of this being another Iron Man sequel.
Yeah. Plus, it did also build some tensity for the moment. Let's face it.
It did.
It definitely helped the feeling of the story.
Right. Yeah. It did. I don't think anyone bought for a second though that Tony wasn't going to make it or that Tony died when he fell.
Of course not.
Yeah. Now, if it happens in Infinity War or Avengers 4, then I definitely believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still have mixed emotions about it. Just because I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite resolution.
It wasn't mine either, but I mean, it made a little bit of sense. It definitely made more sense than like Captain America trying to like deflect the missile with his shield up into space or some bullshit. Yeah. And then
I think that you could have had Hulk throw that bitch. That's
so
another
then he would have
way.
had to jump, catch, then throw. Technically, yeah. I mean that's one way to go. Definitely. Mm-hmm. What would have been cool is if there was some way that all of them worked together.
I was going to say that. Yeah. That would have been great too. Instead of just having Iron Man be the one to
right, be the one who says, "Oh, let me hug it." Douche. Oh, let me direct this hug now.
Yeah.
As I lean back in my chair to direct my imaginary missile.
Yeah. But so I even have it written in my notes here. Like, they really should have sent Thor to get the damn nuke, but it works for the movie's development. But it does still feel like Iron Man and Friends because of that, and because of some other scenes.
Plus, if they did change it, at least then they would have had to have relied on a different character problem. For Iron Man 3.
Right, because and that is the one kind of downfall with these team up movies is that you have to find a way to evenly distribute the weight amongst your characters because you don't want to have. I'm sorry to say it, but the problem with the main X-Men movies that they rely way too much on Wolverine. Yeah, so everybody else feel like a side character. They didn't feel like a team; it felt like Wolverine and Friends.
I mean, they made Halle Berry a background character almost.
How do you make Storm
exactly an Oscar-winning, awesome actress? To a background forgotten mutant.
Right? Yeah.
Like, what the shit? What?
Yeah, one of the most powerful mutants ever.
Exactly.
And she's resorted to that. But
she She needs to be in Black Panther 2, man. She does, and you know why. I know why.
Yeah. Well, there's a new actress playing Storm now.
There is? What?
Yeah, she was in Apocalypse. Yeah.
Dude, I totally thought that was Halle Berry in Apocalypse. What the shit? Let me know. Give me a hot minute here. Yeah, dude.
Did you watch Apocalypse?
Yeah, bro. Did I watch Apocalypse? I watched it with you, son.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a completely different actress because they have the younger cast. Sophie Turner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Apologies to a Mrs. Or Miss, I'm not sure which, Alexandra Shipp.
Nope.
For playing the part in Storm of the Apocalypse-based X-Men movie.
Yep.
I made an error.
Yeah. Anywho, just to wrap this one up here.
Yeah.
So they have the they save the world. They destroy the Chitauri and close the portal down all in one fell swoop. Mm-hmm. And once
convenient.
Once Tony once he wakes up, he's like, "Oh man, we did it." I think that about 2 blocks away from here, there's a place that sells shawarma. I don't know what it is, but I could go for some right now. And then that kicks off the whole shawarma phase, and then of course we see it in another scene here in a little bit.
You know what the exciting thing is? The stats. I remember stats all over Facebook for a while. Whenever that movie was still fresh and it just had theaters.
Yeah.
Shawarma sales skyrocketed. That was harder to say than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Shawarma sales were crazy, man. Like they just tripled or some crazy shit, and you're just like, man, movies are powerful.
Yeah. Isn't it like some kind of Mediterranean,
you know what?
like seafood dish?
We're gonna Google this shit.
Yeah.
I got my laptop for a reason. Shawarma, dude, that looks good. Actually, shit, I can go for some shawarma.
That does look good.
It looks like they took the idea of a gyro and made it into like a Greek burrito.
Yeah. Lamb, chicken, turkey, beef.
Oh my gosh, veal.
What?
Okay, dude, we gotta get some shawarma up in this, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what? We have shawarma here in our town? Like, okay, Mediterranean. Bam.
Oh, so it is Mediterranean.
Dude, we gotta check this place out. What the shit, man?
Yeah. Get some shawarma. We're just 6 years late to the shawarma.
I know,
phase.
right? We'd like to find a shawarma, please. And then they have a sign on the wall. We don't serve shawarma anymore. Like a cross-out symbol over Iron Man or some shit.
So back to the movie though. After this, we get they all go together and capture Loki, and we get another really cool scene. I thought was where they do the scene where there's these news cameras and they're interviewing people and they're talking about the Avengers and all the cool shit that they've done, and it's just a really well done scene, like them interviewing people and seeing their thoughts on what happened and how the Avengers reacted. It felt appropriate, because there was just this huge ordeal in the city, and there's a lot of destruction, but they were saved by these group of people, seeing the world react to it basically, and so I thought that was really cool. It wasn't like it happened and then the world doesn't react to it at all. And that's also where we get our Stan Lee cameo. He's one of the people in this little news montage here. Yeah.
Which technically would have been his second cameo in the movie had they kept the original.
Yeah.
That would have been super cool, actually.
Yep. And then, of course, one of the last things we see is Tony and Pepper. They're inside the broken down Stark Tower now, and they're talking about rebuilding. And then they pan to the outside, and we see all the letters are falling off the Stark Tower except for the A, and it's the Avengers A.
Of course.
Yep.
Stark is like, I did that on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was very well done. There's also one last deleted scene here, and it's right here at the very end. They're showing Agent Hill again, Maria Hill. It's the same interview from the beginning of the movie, but it's a continuation.
Okay.
And she's basically like, oh no, you guys misunderstood me. The Avengers, they were great. You guys didn't believe in them. No, I think she said something like, you guys thought they were a danger. I thought they were a joke. Nick Fury was the only one who always thought them as what they really are, the Avengers. And then she goes, and don't think that we haven't forgotten about your harebrained scheme to blow up New York City. And just so you know, we have all of our conversations with you guys recorded. So if you try to do anything to Nick Fury or blah blah blah,
that would have been great too. Yeah.
And then she just kind of walks away. It's still like, no, wait a minute, we can talk about this. And then she just kind of walks away. And then it leads into the scene when she's talking to Nick Fury at the end of the movie.
That's good. Yeah. That would have been awesome too.
Yeah,
I really appreciate Nick Fury's ending conversation with him because Samuel Jackson knows how to carry a scene on his shoulders. You know, I mean, that's been proved countless times. Damn it. But I really loved how he just like nonchalantly brushed every concern off his shoulders. Like, so what about Loki? Did you take him in? Well, I didn't argue with the god that did.
Yeah,
it's like,
but so you let Loki take. So you let the Thor take Loki and the Tesseract. Like, that's where it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, how can you argue with a god about that?
Yeah. There's also one other small funny moment in that same deleted scene. They pan over to like the Avengers, and we see Thor and Loki being transported back to Asgard, and then we see like kind of the Avengers all going their separate ways. Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, they ride off together, and like a cool freaking
awesome car, which I've never seen on the streets,
But it's funny in the scene because I don't think the scene made it in the original cut because I saw this part particularly in the deleted scenes. Tony Stark, he because it's a coupe, obviously, a drop top, and he jumps over and lands in the seat perfectly. And then Bruce Banner tries to do it. He like stumbles and folds himself into it. I'm like, that was good. I wish I would have seen a little tidbit in the movie. But
I know there are a lot of memes about that. Not the deleted scene particularly, but about the rest of that scene, which did make the movie. About like, all right, guys, we're gonna go science and shit. Something cool stuff like that. It's like, okay.
And so now at this point we basically just get the two post-credit scenes, and if you asked me which scene came first, I would say the shawarma scene.
Nope.
No.
I remember that one because I was pissed because I stayed after the theater and I was like waiting all the credits rolling, all the stuff like, oh, we thank the city of Chicago or New York, blah 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 blah. Here's the soundtrack bullshit, blah blah blah. Oh, hey, here's my scene finally, and they're all sitting around a table just quietly eating the shawarma. It's like,
well, except for Captain America, like he doesn't look like he likes it at all. He looks bored sitting there. Actually, he was just kind of like sitting there with like his hand on his head.
Just like I could really go for like something more American. Or something.
I know he was looking at it like, what is this stuff? Like, they didn't have this back when I was a kid.
I believe that actually. He's just like, so you eat lamb?
But what do you think about the important scene here? Well, actually, before we move on to like to the big scene,
okay.
I remember Kevin Feige, I believe he was saying that the thing about the shawarma scene was that like it was just really to show the audience, and also it was really for the crew and cast, just to be like, look, we did it, guys. So now we can finally just kind of take a break.
I can see that. That's good. Kind of like Deadpool's ending scene in his movie, where it's like, what are you guys still doing here? Right. Where he reenacted Ferris Bueller's. It's like, go home. We're done.
Right. The shawarma machine was really just to be like, damn near 4 years of work, and 6 movies in, like, and we finally did it. And like, we're done here, folks. Yeah. So I thought that was really nice.
That's a good point. That makes it more fitting, like symbolic even.
But of course, the mid-credit scene with the outsider again, talking to this mysterious figure who we still haven't seen at this point. And it's like the humans have done it. They stopped Logan in my Chitauri army. It seems to fight the Avengers is to court death, and then at that point we see Thanos turn around with like a grin on his face.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the scene was great.
Oh yeah.
I was disappointed in the audience. Because you remember how many people walked out of that theater like, who was that? What? Who was that?
Yeah, well, like that's unfortunately, like a lot of people are that way with the post-credit scenes. Like unless they do something blatant and obvious,
right?
A lot of people just don't get it.
Well, at that point, comic movies hitting the big screen was a big deal to a comic fan like myself because I liked comics growing up. I read them, I knew them, and it's like, oh, court death. Oh, that's Thanos. Yeah, right there. No problem.
Yeah.
But then you get a bunch of the people, and in these newer days of the comic movies, you're not used to the idea of comic fans and normal movie fans coming to watch a cool movie. You know, you're still like, oh, you're watching a comic movie, and you don't know comic shit. What are you doing in my breed? You don't belong. You know. So watching the scene, I remember overhearing a lot of people, family and friends, just kind of like, who was that guy at the end? He looks like a bad guy. And it's like, well, that's
like that didn't bother me. The only thing that bothered me was people dissing the scene because they didn't understand it. Like, I don't care. Okay. Like if you don't know who Thanos is, I totally get it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people who read comics,
right? I mean, because honestly, that should be a general rule of thumb. If you don't understand it, don't diss it. Don't insult that shit. You know.
See, the problem is that, and it's the same rule that I apply to myself when I'm at work. Like 90% of my customers are either rude or they're dumb, and some are both. Now, when you're both, you're really up shit's creek because you don't. And so it's the same thing kind of applies to like a lot of people who go see these movies because the people who critique like these cool post-credit scene endings or even things throughout the movies, and they say things that make zero sense. I'm talking to the critics right now who dissed Iron Fist for casting a white man as Danny Rand.
Oh my gosh!
Like if you don't know your shit, then ask someone or do some research.
Yeah,
because I don't mind if you don't know, that's fine. You just don't know.
That's cool. I mean, shoot. Yeah. Sometimes we don't know shit. That's why I have Google right here. Yeah.
But you can't go around and start dissing things just because you don't get it. But that's just about it.
I was about to say we could preach about that for a whole nother cast.
Yeah. So once again, I didn't mind people not knowing who Thanos was because he at the time, for a lot of people, it was still pretty obscure. But I thought it was still a really fun scene.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely was. I mean, they led into it very well. They never said any names. They never did anything big. They gave us the hint of the man actually turning and smiling, and the phrase "court death." Yeah. And that was great. That's all we needed to know. Right. Oh, that's the biggin. Yeah. That's who's coming up.
Yep.
So many movies later.
Oh yeah.
And we're finally getting to them.
Yep.
Go figure.
So, what is your overall score for Avengers?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, my friend. I really did. I tend to give things a less complicated scale at first, and then I kind of complicate them up. I'd say 8.9, dude. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. You probably saw my score earlier. I hope they didn't.
No, I actually didn't. I can't read your writing sometimes. What was yours, buddy? What'd you give it?
I gave mine a 9.
Oh, what? Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Now, for those of you who have been listening to all of these MCU podcasts so far, you may recall that I also gave Iron Man 1 a 9 as well. But I do rank Avengers above Iron Man 1. Reason being is because it's harder to do an ensemble movie than it is to do a standalone movie. And even though origin stories can be hard to do. What's up?
I just saw something so stupid. So Iron Man was a 9, and truthfully, Avengers was a 9.01. We're gonna get super technical up in this bitch. We're gonna be like, we're gonna digest the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the plot slowed down. You just lost 0.08 points.
So real quick here, Kevin, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Hit me.
If you had to rank Phase 1, how would you rank it?
Honestly, it was one of the better phases. You know, it didn't have.
No, I mean like the individual movies. How would you categorize them from worst to best, from your least favorite to your favorite?
Okay. I thought we were comparing phases now. Which okay, I wouldn't want to get into yet either, since we haven't introduced the others yet.
Right.
But Avengers and Iron Man would be close. Shit. Let's see. Give me a second, because those are the only two I really need to debate. I feel like. I'd put Avengers above Iron Man. Thinking about it, like if you were to ask me right now, just stepping back and trying to look at this from a better perspective. Hey Kevin, which movie would you want to watch right now? I would say Avengers over Iron Man.
Yeah.
Even a month later from now, I'd probably still want to say the same thing. You know. So I'd say Avengers 1, Iron Man 2. Let's do Captain America 3.
So you literally just said that you.
Yeah, no. I was thinking so much about those first two that the others were just like filing in slowly. Like, where do they fit in the spaces? Where's the puzzle piece? Yeah.
So you said Avengers, Iron Man, then
Cap for 3, Thor for 4, and then Edward Norton Hulk for 5.
You forgot Cap 2. I mean, you forgot Iron Man 2.
Put that one down 6, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I'm working my way, because I like to work my way from the bottom up. I would definitely do Incredible Hulk as my bottom 6.
Cool.
Number 5 would be Captain America.
Okay.
4 would be Iron Man 2. 3 would be Thor. 2, Thor was damn good. 2 would be Iron Man 1, and number 1 would be Avengers.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Man, so I was going to talk about the Marvel one shot here, but we're actually like 2 hours and 15 minutes into this bitch.
Dang.
Yeah.
And our Wednesday cast was supposed to be the simpler ones.
Yeah. These are usually like the simpler podcasts. Yeah. Shit. There's a lot more in Avengers, man, than meets the eye. No Optimus Prime.
More than meets the eye.
I was gonna say no pun intended. But yeah, anyways. So we may break down this one shot another time here.
Okay.
It's really fun scene. I think this was the best one I've seen at this point. To this point. Actually really like the one in Iron Man 3, oddly enough. But anyway, so that was our review of Avengers, and that's going to wrap up Phase 1. We will be doing Phase 2 leading up to Infinity War, but of course we're going to take a break from the Marvel Cinematic Universe next week. So this Sunday, of course, our podcast is going to be on plagiarism within the comic book realm,
right? So, especially between our two powerhouse companies, Marvel and DC.
Yeah, so we're gonna discuss some of the character copycats and which came first, which ones were successes. So that's gonna be a really fun podcast.
Or which ones worked out for both parties. Yeah, for sure. Because there are some positive cases as well.
And then next Wednesday, instead of doing a movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're going to take just a week break here, give ourselves some room to breathe from Phase 1 and 2. And next Wednesday, we're going to be covering Unbreakable. The 2000 M. Night Shyamalan movie with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson again.
Yeah.
It isn't a traditional comic book movie, we know, but we wanted to take a quick break and kind of play around with some things here and go ahead and review this classic. So if you haven't seen Unbreakable, we do highly recommend you guys watching it,
because our podcast will be filled with some spoilers.
Oh yeah, as always, there will be spoilers.
Indeed.
But so
we are not merciful.
That's going to be our upcoming lineup, and then of course the week after that we'll be resuming our review of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kicking off things with Iron Man 3 the week after that. So There you have it, folks. We do hope that you enjoyed this. As always, we do appreciate you guys listening to us. You guys listening is really a great help to us and really helping the podcast grow.
Heck yeah, it's what keeps us afloat.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We look forward to talking to you.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions or critiques or compliments or anything of the like, comments, then please hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or our Facebook page of the same name, Superhero Homies, and
we will respond promptly.
Yep,
Indeed.
If we see it. So, but yeah, if you have any kind of comments, questions, gift threats, food supplies,
there it is.
Hit us up. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up here. But as always, I'm Quentin.
I'm Kevin.
See you guys next time.